The Second Advent. Jesus clearly foretold of his return, yet he added that no one knew of the day and hour of his return. Nevertheless, we can deduce from the scriptural verse, "Surely the Lord God does nothing without revealing his secret to his servants the prophets," that God will surely reveal all secrets about the Second Advent to his prophets before he carries out his work. Accordingly, God will certainly give prophecies to those faithful believers who are in the light. When will Christ return? We call the time of Christ's Second Advent the last days. As it was already explained in Eschatology 4, we are living in the last days today. We can thus understand that today is truly the time of Christ's return. Christ is to return at the end of the 2,000 years of the New Testament age, which has been restoring the 2,000-year-long age of the providence of restoration through substantial parallel conditions of indemnity. We can thus conclude that the period of the Second Advent began soon after the end of the First World War. In what manner will Christ return? In Luke 17:25, Jesus made a prediction about the Lord at his return. But first he must suffer many things and be rejected by this generation. In Luke 18:8, Jesus said, "When the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on earth?" If Jesus were to return literally on the clouds of heaven, however, would he not readily be accepted and honoured, even by this sin-ridden world? Jesus foresaw that at the Second Advent, when he is born in the flesh, he is likely to be persecuted and condemned as a heretic. That is why he foretold that the Lord would suffer and be rejected by his generation. Hence, Christ will return by being born in the flesh on earth. Where will Christ return? Based on such passages as Revelation 7:4, Matthew 10:23, and Matthew 16:28, some Christians expect that Christ will come again among the Jewish people. But in Matthew 21:33-43, Jesus clearly conveyed that he would not come again to the people who persecuted him, which meant the Jewish people. God will take away the mission previously entrusted to them and give it to another people who can produce its fruits upon Christ's return. Therefore, the chosen people after Jesus' crucifixion are not the descendants of Abraham, but rather the Christians, who have inherited the faith of Abraham. Christ will return to a nation in the East. Revelation 7:2-4 indicates that the seal of the living God will be placed on the foreheads of the 144,000 elect in the East, where the sun rises. Revelations 14:1 says that these chosen ones will accompany the returning Christ. We can thus infer that the nation which will inherit the work of God and bear its fruit for the sake of the Second Advent is in the East. The nation in the East is Korea. Since ancient times, the nations in the East have traditionally been considered to be the three nations of Korea, Japan, and China. Japan entered the period of the Second Advent as a fascist nation and severely persecuted Korean Christianity. China at this time was a hotbed of communism and would become a communist nation. Thus both nations belong to Satan's side. Korea, then, is the nation in the East where Christ will return. As the nation to which the Messiah returns, Korea had to meet the following qualifications. Korea's qualifications to receive the Messiah. The nation qualified to stand as the object partner of God's heart must be a people of goodness. The homogeneous Korean people rarely invaded other nations. The Korean people are by nature endowed with a religious character, a strong desire to worship God, and the virtues of loyalty, filial piety, and chastity. The Koreans have a prophecy that the righteous king will appear and found a glorious and everlasting kingdom in their land. This messianic idea was revealed through the Chungamnok, a book of prophecy written in 14th century Korea. Many devotees of every religion in Korea have received revelations that the founder of their religion will return to Korea. Many spiritually attuned Christians are receiving revelations and signs testifying to the second coming of Christ in Korea. Hence, many are receiving clear revelations that Christ will come to Korea. If human beings had not fallen, we would have formed one global family, like a body with God as the head. Then there never would have risen a profusion of tongues unintelligible to one another. If we are to realize the ideal world of one global family, which can honor the returning Christ as our true parent, surely our languages must be unified. If Christ does indeed return to Korea, the Korean language will become the mother tongue for all humanity, and all people will have to speak it. All of humanity will become one people and use one language, thus establishing one global nation under God.